Hello, everyone, and sorry for this little delay, I would say. My name is Frédéric Passeron, and I'll be hosting this Munch and Learn session, replacing Didier, who is absent today. So we'll need a very few minutes to actually set everything up. And so maybe in the meantime, I can start talking about what is the HP developer community program about. So, the session today will be about the HP Sustainability Insight Center, a win for both business and environment. We'll be having with us Kashish Pawar and Kevin Krongowski, and sorry if I misspell or mispronounce your name. And they'll be talking about, obviously, the HP SIG. As I was saying, housekeeping items, sorry, before we start. So the developer community and the Munch and Learn. So if you want to learn about all the different developer Munch and Learn session that we'll be hosting, you can go on the following website on hpdeveloper.com. And I'm pretty sure that Denise, my colleague, will be copying and pasting all the different links that are necessary for you in the chat. So the Munch and Learn have been existing for the last 5 years or 4 years. I think we're reaching now more than 50 Munch and Learn. I counted them this morning, and I think we were about 50. This is the 51 that we'll be hosting. It's a monthly series. It's about all thought leadership, vendor, product agnostic type of discussions. If you want to go deep down into some more technical type of meetings, you can join us, sorry, in the meetups that we are hosting also on a monthly basis. And these are providing you with more in-depth on a technology from HPE or partners or other ISV that could come here and talk on a given technical subject. It's usually around open source development and other subjects that could be relevant to anyone in the community. The next meetup, sorry, will take place in June on the 18th. It will be around HPE Compute Ops Management APIs and the DevOps ecosystems, updates and developer tools. And I think it will be given by Lionel Julien, one of our French colleagues. And also, we introduced some months ago, or maybe last year, it was probably back in September, some AI Jam series. And so we'll be hosting a new AI Jam event on July the 9th. And the subject is not yet defined, but stay tuned with our newsletter and our communication. You'll be hearing about the proper subject itself. Obviously, the developer community is not only about tech talks and Munch and Learn and so on. We also provide some hands-on types of experience. So the workshops on demand will help you out in discovering some new technologies and new solutions from HP from a developer standpoint. There are more than 30 workshops that are available. They're all based on the Jupyter Notebooks technology. They're available 24/7 and they're free and available to everyone. So please give them a try and provide us some feedbacks. As a community, we also need you to participate in terms of amplification and contribution. So we are very happy to welcome some new members who can actually participate to our talks. You can join and also invite people to join our newsletter. You can also start participating in our Slack channels, our workspaces. It's a public workspace, a public Slack environment that from which you can interact with all the HP developers and members of the community as well. You can follow us on X or Twitter. And if you're a subject matter expert, well, you can write some blogs and you can also reach out to us to actually participate to a meetup or a Munch and Learn or actually develop some workshops on demand if you think you have a proper subject to be covered in there. And with that being said, I hope that our speakers for today's session are ready. And I think I will hand it over to Kashish, and she will provide you with some introductory slides on the Sustainability Insight Center, followed by a demo given by Kevin. Are we ready to go? If so, then I suppose that Kashish, you can stop or you can start sharing your screen, go in full screen mode, and start your presentation. Is it okay with you?
Tha- Yep. Thanks, Frederick. Hi, everyone.
All right.
Um, Before starting the presentation, right, just a quick introduction. My name is Kashish Pahwa, and I work in the GLP product management team, and it's basically around everything that we do on the platform, right? So this HP Sustainability Insight Center, we conceptualize, developed, and launched. Of course, with the help of our engineering team, designers, partners. So there were a lot of collaborators somewhere around November 2023, and we just had 25 customers when we started. But as of today, it exponentially grew based on the feature set that we are building and also based on the active feedback that helps us develop the product. Now the customers are around 730. So clearly, there has been enough growth in terms of what's happening, how we are doing, stuff like that. So I think with that, with just that context, let's just start. Let me
Kashish,
quickly share. Yeah.
do you have a problem with your video or is it?
Yeah, I just told you there was something going on.
Oh,
So I put the
okay.
Hack background, but I
Okay.
cannot come on camera because of that issue
Uh,
at home.
Go ahead with the sharing then and
Yeah.
go. Thanks. Are you sharing right now?
Yeah. It shows me the host is allowing multiple recipients to share. Yeah, I can share now. Yes.
Let me see.
Let me know if you can see my screen, and it should be up now. Is it visible?
But for me now. Oh, I need to stop sharing. Okay. Sorry,
Yeah.
my mistake. Here you go.
Yeah,
Now.
I think it should be visible now. It shows sharing for me.
Yep. Indeed. Sorry, my mistake.
No worries.
Okay.
So let's talk about HP Sustainability Insight Center. I would just touch base on how the product involved, what we are trying to do. At the end, once Kevin give more technical insights, if we have time, we will also discuss about what's coming in and how it can benefit our customers. Just the NDA. But I think the vision for HP Sustainability Insight Center came from all of the challenges that we understood the customers are facing, right? So if you see, a lot of the customers have started reporting their IT sustainability numbers, but it's still mainly offline, it's disaggregated, and it's still accomplished through some email transmission. There's a team of about 10 to 15 people. They try to pull in numbers or resources from multiple areas and come up with their sustainability metrics for the organization, report it for the green board, report it to their CIOs, report it to the board organizations. Um, just by number crunching. So it's not a tool that's getting in the numbers for them. It's just some manual tool helping them figure out what's the power consumption like, what's the carbon emission like, which in the industry, as we are going fast with AI, that's not acceptable. So what was needed clearly was that unified real-time dashboard capability that could help them enhance the existing capabilities that they have, plus feed in more telemetry to give that holistic experience. Of course, the manual pull in mechanism resulted in regulatory scrutiny. There were operational inefficiencies. Of course, there was financial impact, greenwashing. Some companies were involved in greenwashing, and it increased labor costs. Like I said, there were 10, 15 people who were doing this activity. It was not readily available data all the time, which in most of the cases, it's important. And all of these IDC reports that you see here, and by the way, our PMM Serena is here. She did a great job in curating a lot of the findings for you. So you can use these IDC reports to learn more on how things are happening, with HP GreenLake being the centerpiece of it, right? So HP GreenLake and HP Sustainability. Insight Center is indeed a winning combination that is helping the organizations. It's written well, but now because of the customer base we have, I can definitely say it's helping the organization achieve that sustainable IT goals. I'll not go depth into the numbers because I think what's important to understand is that value prop. So I'll move into that, but these are some key quantitative numbers for you to understand how HP GreenLake and HP Sustainability Insight Center is benefiting our customers together. This is important. If you read the customer quote, right, let's talk about numbers a bit later. Our data center with HP GreenLake is called Green and Cool Data Center. This is so powerful because they are thinking about sustainability at the core of it. They are using HP GreenLake in combination of HP Sustainability Insight Center to meet their sustainability IT goals. People are saying that, okay, 30% of them fewer servers required for equivalent workloads. They could reduce their overall infrastructure and the energy consumption of it. They can deploy more servers per rack because now they understand what are the configurations like, what's actually happening in their IT infrastructure, which earlier was a black box. So I think this report itself is really powerful. The code itself is really powerful from the customer. This is again a intensity of thinking about how customers are thinking about their sustainability numbers, about getting into that net zero carbon neutral goal. I think we should have done a poll, but I'll just reveal the numbers, right? HP is trying to get to the carbon neutral or net zero enterprise layer by 2030. And it could be an aggressive path. A lot of the companies are trying to even get to net zero even before. And with that said in mind, for a lot of the organizations, the number here is mentioned 63%. But I could say that for a lot of the organizations, sustainability has always been an afterthought. Okay, I am bound to report a number. I'm to the European Commission. We need to do something to figure out what's happening with our organization. Let's do it. But now the mindset is shifting towards increasing propensity to sustainable IT, right? In that sense, if you think about, because the organizations are figuring out, okay, can I use a tool to actually calculate the carbon emissions for me or show me what's happening in my IT infrastructure? There were competitors that they look after. There was Microsoft Sustainability Manager, there was an IBM NVZ suite, but they were point products. What HP brought in to perspective is how can I let the customer use it by just a click? Everything that's there in their IT infrastructure, it should make sense to them and they should be able to see sustainability numbers for it. I think that changed the game for a lot of the customers and why our customer base is increasing. So here comes the value prop, right? HP Sustainability Insight Center is that tool, that unification that aggregates telemetry from your hybrid multi-vendor IT environments to provide you that energy and carbon emission profile, a report that is unified, it's available on your dashboard, and it's actually empowering you to make those impactful changes, lower your IT infrastructure costs, and achieve the sustainable IT goals that the organization has set for. You would have seen this slide a lot of times. This is really important because HP Sustainability Insight Center is one of the value added services that sits on HP GreenLake Cloud. HP GreenLake Cloud has a lot of value added services and even core platform services that is providing that differentiation in the market to our customers. I'll talk about each of these aspects in detail, but I'll just move on to the next slides to capture the key benefits of where the market is going. I'll skip this slide, it's just for more information. But really talking about the benefits, right? Or it ties back to the value prop question that we had. Heterogeneous and hybrid IT visibility for full control. It improves the management pane that an organization really needs to get that complete or holistic picture of what's happening with their IT infrastructure. Because you can understand the cost of energy per device or even understand what's happening in your IT infrastructure, that cost savings for sustainable transformation is no more a myth. You can free up that IT budget to fund new Gen AI projects, which people are going after, right? Of course, there's analytics for informed decision making. When I say about that is reporting is one aspect of Sustainability Insight Center. But what we are marching towards is providing you more insights from the data that you see so that it can help you achieve your IT sustainability goals. From the reactive to the proactive is the journey of SIC at the moment. I'll try and go on to the next slide. I think this is key, right? This is how it actually works. And I think Kevin will do a great job in talking about technical details, but I want to touch base upon how we are pulling in metrics, where it is coming from. So we have multiple data sources that contribute to all that telemetry that our customers are enjoying in Sustainability Insight Center. We manage the server portfolio for from an HP Gear using the compute ops management. The networking part of it, an aggregated view around your access points, is covered through Aruba Central. When I say multi-vendor, I really mean hybrid heterogeneous, which actually is coming from right now an Opsram acquisition that we did last year. And in that sense, as long as a customer have a valid Opsram license, Opsram has 4,000 plus integrations. And because HP Opsram can send in telemetry from everything that is there in your infrastructure, not just HP, but also Dell, Lenovo, Cisco. Because as much as we want our customers to be just a pure HP shop, that's not the truth. So we want the customers to experience that full hybrid and heterogeneous view into sustainability Insight Center, and that can be achieved today with the Opsram integration. Storage, of course, is an important parameter that a lot of customers are working on. We do have competitors. We have Pure Storage, we have NetApp, but again, they are point products. If I want to make a change in my organization, will I be interested just to see my storage portfolio? Maybe not. I want to understand everything that's going in my IT infrastructure. That's the power of these data sources. Not just on-prem, but let's also tell you what's happening with your public cloud workloads, AWS, Azure, GCP eventually. So if you see all of these data sources are feeding in so much rich data into Sustainability Insight Center, and everything is happening on HP GreenLake Cloud. So as long as you can be that GreenLake customer for us, you can come onto the platform, understand Sustainability Insight Center as a value added service on the platform and provision it. You should have the power of all the data so that your organization can take those next steps to get to the net zero level. This is just the unified dashboard. Of course, reporting is the basic ability that SIC provides because let's face it, right? We have to report the numbers at the end. It is a tool, it can be auditable, and in those lines it's that complete unification that the customers were looking for to address those challenges that we just discussed initially. I'll not go into the depth of it, but it still talks about data sources, and these slides will be available. They are available for our partners and customers on Seismic PS Now for all of you to leverage. I'll skip the features as well, but I'll just talk about what's happening, right? Like we said, usage telemetry from all the data sources is coming in. The three important metrics that we touch base upon are carbon emissions, energy consumption, and energy cost. And you'll see more features when we get into the demo part of it. But we do analysis, reporting, API extraction on top of it so that we can truly help our customers understand their carbon footprint and even reduce it further. So these were the newest capabilities that we launched. I'll talk about more into the public cloud carbon emission. It's the unified device summary table that we still provide in SIC to give you those comprehensive insights for your AWS and Azure public cloud workloads. The next stage, of course, is to get in GCP, but these are the two capabilities that are already available for our customers to use. I spoke about analytics for accountability. Reporting is of course the basic step. It's the foundation, but beyond that, how can we make it from the reactive to the proactive mode where we can provide in more insights to the data that they see into Sustainability Insight Center? Anomaly detection was just the first step, where providing that real-time insights into their device energy usage across HP Compute, HP Electra, like file and block, help customers understand what's happening in my infrastructure from in last 7 days, Okay, were there any power surges? What next is what we are trying to answer. That's getting into the accountability part of it. Custom tagging, device groups, I think this is really a great capability that is available on HP GreenLake as the platform experience. When a customer onboards a device in on HP GreenLake or inside a particular service, they can create tags. You can actually create a tag called energy profile. You can create a tag called server high, something on those lines. And if you create such tags, those tags still come into Sustainability Insight Center and you can filter your sustainability numbers based on the tags. You might be interested in thinking about a particular department, your energy department, your IT department, your engineering department. If you want to look at your energy profile based on the department, the easiest way is to tag them. And I think that that's became really important. The another important capability that we launched is having Sustainability Insight Center for the MSP mode. So a lot of our MSP partners also wanted to leverage Sustainability Insight Center as a core capability. And you can see that they have started using it. We got real good feedback from some of our MSPs, and that's eventually growing the customer base, right? So it was a great move. Other things are around customizable charts. We do understand that the three key aspects of Sustainability Insight Center are those key metrics, but maybe there are more charts that our customers are interested in. Maybe it's based on location. Eventually, in future, there are more filters that can be added, but it's just giving you an option to personalize your dashboard to what is really important for your organization. I'll actually try and leave it here because we do understand that customers have data sovereignty and data residency concerns. That's the reason we have HP Sustainability Insight Center available in 4 instances for our customers to provision: EU Central, EU West, AP Northeast, US West. We have detailed documentation, FAQs, what countries are covered, not just related to data residency, but also anything and everything that a customer might ask around Sustainability Insight Center that can help our developer community, that can help everyone out there who's trying to use the product, pitch the product. We do have extensive collaterals for you guys to look at. I'll leave at this slide because I think the overall sustainability journey from an HP lens is also important. Sustainability Insight Center is one of the key components of the HP directive. But there are HPE services that are providing tools like Power Advisor. They do have strategy workshops. There's workload right mix advisor. All of it together in action gives that complete picture to our customers to help them really plan their sustainable IT journey. These are all the collaterals that can be provisioned, used by everyone out there so that it gets you the complete picture of Sustainability Insight Center. I'll stop sharing and just move the control
Before,
to Kevin. But yeah,
before we move to Kevin, there are a few
sure,
questions
of course.
in Q&A, so maybe I can relay them to you
Yeah.
while we are changing screens. So the first one is, what is the difference between System Insight Center, Sustainability Insight Center, sorry, versus Sustain Lake? I'm not very familiar with Sustain Lake, so maybe you can, either you, Kevin, or Annette can answer to the question.
Um, yeah, I can answer. So Susnail Lake or is basically the another name for energy and emission reporting. It's a services play on the sustainability insights for an organization. And when we see that, right, it's basically it's still point products. It's a services play. It's not like a product that customers can use plug and play. You need to have like an outpost. You need to have like an on-prem infrastructure in place to to have that device in your infrastructure, get the metrics. So we actually have a deep link with that Sustain Lake or the energy emission reporting that services provide. It's basically one of our data sources. So it's not, you can't, you shouldn't see them as competitors, but they really complement each other. So I guess that would solve. If you really get into the metrics of it, if you see the feature set, you will see that it's a services play. It's basically white glove services that HP services team offers, but this is a product. Enterprises are keen on using products until it's like a very specific use case around your dim side or dark sides.
Okay. There was a second question from Umesh. He was asking whether there were whether there are or not some analytics on HP Sustainability Insight Center.
Yeah, so I think the last part that I covered was moving away from just the reporting part of it to analytics for accountability. We started with anomaly detection. If you know about the customers, if you have some customers, let us know. It's basically in the beta phase right now. We are also working on other analytic capabilities like industry benchmarking, forecasting. So you'll see all of it coming in a Sustainability Insight Center.
Okay, and there was a third question regarding the support of non-HP server storage and switches, but I suppose you already answered to this. I mean, you already mentioned that
Opstra,
non-HP, yeah, Opsran
yes.
was a multi-vendor and was supporting this type of non-HP hardware. One last question, and I think that will be Kevin who will be answering it during this session. What does data APIs does Sustainability Insight Center provide? Consolidate sustainability data across multiple sources, not necessarily inside SIG, but outside of it. So I think that's probably something you can talk about, Kevin, and I will leave you the set now. So,
Okay. Yep.
Kevin.
Definitely, I'm definitely going to talk a little bit about the APIs and give a demo of the data access to the API. So two things I'm going to show. One, I'm going to go ahead and show the user interface, providing some life to the slides that Kashish has already shown for some of the highlights of different areas. And then going to go through an exercise of using the API to get some data back on that. So kind of two parts of the demo here. First, we'll start with the UI, and for this demo, I'm using some our staging environment and also using some data that we have generated just so that there is a good mix of devices and sources and so forth. So don't take the actual values of this stuff with a grain of salt, but hopefully it can give a good example of some of the different things that Kashish has shown. So I'm in logged into GreenLake, and I'm in a particular workspace here that we have for our development. And I'm going to go ahead and launch the Sustainability Insights Center. And as Kashish has shown, the first thing that comes up is for this particular workspace are three default charts: carbon emissions, energy consumption, and energy cost. These are shown here for a particular date range that can be adjusted up on in the date range picker. You can see that not only do we present kind of the summary, we also present all of the devices that are making up that summary. This could get quite long if you have lots of devices. You can go through and page through this here. And also you can break this down. We're gonna show some filtering and some others. One thing to highlight first off of is that although these are our three default cards, we do have a second set of cards in production right now that you'll be able to show by coming over here to the customized cards. You can obviously get rid of the default cards that you have, but then we can also show at this point these three by location. So if we wanted to look at, if you had multiple locations in this workspace, you could look at the view of this data by location. And when we're talking location, we're talking location that is created within the GreenLake platform, that your devices are then assigned to those locations. We take that information from device location, obviously use it and group by that. And location is important for us because it provides the coefficients that we use both for carbon emissions and then also for energy cost. If you have devices that are not associated with a particular location, we will use kind of some world coefficients from that have been provided through kind of our um, sustainability group at HPE. And also, if you have locations, we will break them down for more specific um, coefficients that are for country and state and or province. Those are the customizable cards we have at this point. We also can do some filtering on here. So so the results of all of our devices we could go through and we can go through and select, based upon the country. Let's just say United States, right? Apply that, and then we will basically show you'll see that that other country here for all of the devices we have are for United States. We could obviously, yep, go ahead.
There is one question that is related to what you are currently showing. So
Okay.
it's from Florian and sorry, Claude Tréchy. How can energy cost can be figured out as it would be varying from different zones and time of the day. So like in America, I mean, the server could be on the West Coast or on the East Coast, and there might be some differences, obviously, in time zone and pricing, probably. So how do you differ and how do you make it granular to match these differences?
Right. So we have from a non-GMO, we have the accepted default values for both the carbon emissions and the energy. I'm going to show in just a little bit how you can go in and via location put in more specific values for that location that may come from like a power purchase agreement and so forth. So it's you can get granular down to the location based upon the cost. There are some future things that Kashish can talk about even enhancing that. They're not in our production environment today, but we could switch back. Kashish could jump in at any time, and after I show the base functionality there, she could jump in and talk about some things coming in the future, that area. Hopefully that will answer the question when we
The
get.
second question,
Yeah.
can carbon emission in dashboard further be divided into scope 1, 2, and 3? I mean, can you break down the further down in the carbon emission?
Yeah, that again is coming. I'll let Kashish talk about some of the future things that are coming down in here. I believe at this point we're talking all about the current use, so that's scope 2, I think, if I can remember correctly. But Kashish can talk about some future things there that are coming in.
Okay.
Okay, so where were we? We were showing some filtering. Obviously, you can, continuing here, you can filter by certain devices like only see compute. Right, and we could actually go down into like, the make. Let's go HP. Oops, sorry, and actually down into the model. So anyway, that's filtering. Pretty robust set of filtering there. I'm going to go ahead and clear those filters. And I'm going to go ahead and clean out a couple of these cards here. Okay, so let's go then in and talk about the data configuration in this, and where I promise I'm going to get to this carbon and cost coefficient configuration. First thing I wanted to show though is that as Kashish has talked about the data sources that we have. You can see in here, this is where for this particular workspace, where the partners within HPE, the data that we're getting, Aruba, COM, the energy and emission reporting is a kind of a special on-prem data collection, ops ramp, data services, which is DSCC, and then also the users. So you can get a sense of where the first and last available are on these. cost and carbon coefficient configuration, this is where we actually are able to put in for a particular location and on particular effective dates where the cost per kilowatt and the carbon emission coefficients. At this point in production, it would be from that date forward to where it's actually changed. So you can have this change over time. And it can be both in the past and then for things looking ahead into the future for all what the new data would be. I don't think I have permissions in this workspace to edit this. Oh, yes, I do. Okay. So how you could edit this. I'm not going to edit this because we use some of this for our QA data, so I don't want to screw things up. But again, you can pick your location. So this is like Western Kentucky, and obviously you can use the coefficient based upon location. Those are those default numbers that I talked about. For the US, it would be per the US and per state, or you can specify. You can specify in whatever currency it is and the cost, and then also the carbon emissions. You can come in here and put the coefficient. So you can set those on a per location basis. I'm not going to add them right now, but that's how you do that. Hopefully that answered that question, and Kashish can talk about some forward-looking things in there, enhancing that. Another way that you can get data into the system is actually a data upload. So if you would have, an ITOM that you are getting data from with some manipulation to get that data into the form that we want of a CSV, you can go ahead and upload this data. So it really open ends things. And obviously this is available through the API, even though I'm not going to show it today through the API. So you could have this, pretty automated from your own ITOM system if you wished. And then lastly on this is the currency display preference. So, by default for this workspace, we're in US dollars. You can select any of the other major currencies on here and go ahead and change your display so that, if you're in Great Britain, you might look at pound sterling or any of those others. So those are the configurations we have there. A couple only other things to mention is that whatever we are showing on here, you can export a report for that. Obviously, that's that's a CSV format. We're not going to go ahead and do that, but you can export this data out if you want. The last thing to point out is because she should mention the anomaly details. You can see from this banner up here that there are some devices that through this time period have some what would be called energy anomalies. We can go in here and pick one and see what we have. And so you can start to see now that we've done some analysis on these devices and the device types. And you can see that in here, depending on the average, if we're outside of our bands, obviously we'll highlight that there'll be an anomaly for energy usage across there. This is Kashish, correct me if I'm wrong, in limited release for specific customers. You can give more details on that.
Sure.
Did you want to go ahead and that's most of what we have here. Did you want to talk about some of the future things before I get into the just the API side of stuff, or we can answer some questions again here?
Yeah, there are a few questions at least. So, Kashish, what do you prefer?
Oh, yeah. So I can continue on the anomaly point because we still are here, and then maybe we can go back and answer questions. Thanks, Kevin. I think the demo always does magic, right? To show what new features we launch and the whole story of Sustainability Insight Center. So thanks for pulling it off. Going back into the anomaly detection, concept that Kevin just said. So it is, like I said, it's currently under beta. It's we do have it whitelisted for a couple of customers. So if there are any customers who are interested, they just need to reach out to us. And there are a lot of ways to do that. That's answered in the FAQs. If you reach out to us, we can whitelist your workspace, and basically you can try it and give us that active feedback. We are enhancing this capability to add more analytics to really answer the question, so what? You are showing me energy anomalies. What should I do with it? What's the next stage? So I think that feedback would be really helpful. So this is again under beta, under specialized whitelisted customers. So please send in if any of the customers are interested. But we can go and answer questions post Kevin, if the API, like after your
Okay.
API demo.
Sure. Let me quickly go through the API demo here. This is a notebook. It happens to be a Kotlin notebook because that's what we tend to, as engineers, we're writing our code in. So I have it here, but I think anyone will be able to basically understand what we're doing here. It's pretty straightforward. So anyway, I just got to get the notebooks ready here. Now, when you go to access the API, you will need to create an API token. I think people should be relatively familiar with that. I can go back and show how that's created if we have any questions there to basically authenticate yourself in. And so based upon, and when you do that, you get a client ID and a client secret. And don't worry, I'm going to delete this client secret as soon as we're done. So it won't be there for your to use. It's read only anyway. And on this workspace. So anyway, basically, pretty standard. We go in through your and get credentials and make your basically your post on a form here, and you come back and you get your authentication token. Now using the API. So let's take a look at basically the kind of the same thing that we had in the top level charts. Also, when you create your tokens, you get the URL to use, and then the Sustainability Insights Center is all documented in the public API documentation that we can get you pointed to later. You can see here we have basically we're just going to do standard HTTP. We're going to get our usage totals equating to those top level charts. Parameters, start time, end time. There's a whole set of parameters. Again, that's documented in the API documentation, and authentication as a bearer token. Just doing a little parsing here, and off we go. Oops. And you can see for this state, we got our carbon emissions, energy consumption, energy costs. There's obviously there's a bit more data that comes back with this, but these are those main charts. So again, very simple to go in here with the API and get the data you want. Let's take a little bit more here as doing some filtering, and let's get some usage by entity, i.e. devices. So again, API, very similarly usage by entity, start time, end time, filter. In this case, we're going to be filtering by the device per line DL325 Gen 11s. And again, some code to parse the output. And we can easily go with the API and get a table that's very similar to the table in the API. You can do anything that you want with that data. Moving right along, you can also go in and get the data as it's presented kind of in our bar charts by doing a usage series. You can see here start time, end time, and the interval at which the data will be reported back to you. Again, some parsing of the JSON that comes back to you, right? And you can have your own charts. So there are more APIs. There are APIs for all of the configurations if you have the right permission. to be able to change stuff. There's you can do the import of the CSV and so forth. So everything that is shown in the API, sorry, in the UI can be done through the API. So you'd have your own programmatic front end for this and do that. So API first design that we have. Didn't really want to go into too much more detail on this. Wanted to leave a little bit of time for questions. So we can kind of switch back to that, and Kashish and I can answer questions.
Okay, so I'll start by a very simple one somehow. Is Sustainability Insight Center available for disconnected PCE? So you know that we have a disconnected version of GreenLake. Yeah. So ish is the answer, or oh, Kashish Pal, sorry, you're on mute. So if you want to answer.
Yeah, so it's something that's forward-looking, right? Roadmap items, so cannot touch base more on it, but feel free to reach out through the right forums, and we should be able to provide it more information.
Okay. Now, if is a GreenLake customer, I mean, can a GreenLake customer integrate with Sustainability Central and check regular monitoring on carbon emission of GreenLake customers? So, GreenLake customer can integrate with Sustainability Central and check regular monitoring on carbon emissions coming from GreenLake customers.
Yeah, yeah. So, I mean, I feel like it's a statement, but that's the whole idea. As long as you are a customer for HP GreenLake Cloud, you can see Sustainability Insight Center as one of the services in your service catalog that can be provisioned from there. And in any instance of your choice, like I mentioned, we have the application that can be provisioned in 4 of the instances. So, if you are a customer adhering to data residency rules, you can provision the application in that particular instance of your choice, and you should be able to see them added in your recent services as Kevin is showing you. So once it's done, you have it added in your recent services, and when you launch it, if you have those integrations in terms of all the data sources we spoke about, it definitely can show you an end-to-end metrics around your sustainability insights for your IT infrastructure from servers, configurations, and it's real time, right? Whenever you log in using the right credentials, you should be able to see your sustainability metrics.
Yeah, I'm just showing our stage environment now,
Yep.
which doesn't have that. So if someone really wanted to see it, I could go and log into the production system and show provisioning in different regions, but hopefully take our word for it.
Okay. There's a question regarding device location that you touched upon earlier on in your demo, Kevin. So can the device location cover those VMs that are actually used in AWS or Azure or GCP, or do we rely on this hyperscalers carbon emission report?
We do rely on the hyperscalers emissions report. That is shown. I skipped over that when I was
there was a public cloud tab in your, there was on-premise and public cloud.
Yeah, it's on public cloud here.
Okay.
And you can see that this is what we've gotten, from AWS is supported now. That information comes to us from through OpsRamp from the public cloud. So they're scraping from the public clouds, coming in to us through OpsRamp, and then we present that here.
Okay. One question for Kashish, maybe. Do we plan on adding an LLM interface for customers to access the data that is generated by the Sustainability Insight Center?
Like I said, we are moving from the reactive to proactive, but again, this is something that's forward-looking, so cannot provide in more details. Please come through the right channel and we can discuss more.
Okay. And there's 2 additional questions. Can we also get some observability using the sustainability insights, such as adding metrics of SLOs, SLIs, and provide corrective active measures. So can you define some SLAs and automate some? You said you're working to proactive, but
Yeah.
so is this part of I would say the direction you're looking at?
Yeah, so I think with the integration that we have with OpsRam, right, a lot of the observability space, SLO, SLA, measurements and dimensions will be coming to SIC in that aspect. But again, like providing details, this is in the right forum. So you can come through right channels through the account teams, and we can have a deep discussion on that.
Okay. And finally, as a DevOps service owner or as a right mix advisor, is there a way to predict the carbon footprint of a workload depending on the landing zone, or even more dragged down to depending on the cluster of the work or where the workload is actually hosted?
Great questions, similar response, not covered here because it's not launched yet. But yeah, feel free to reach out to us through right channels and we can provide in more details.
Okay. So probably if there are any questions live that want to be, or any more questions in the Q&A or in the chat. I looked at the Q&A, I didn't look at the chat. So let me check if I can see there are some other stuff that I didn't see. No,
I think one of the important aspects is we actually have HP Sustainability Insight Center as a key offering or a value added service on GreenLake platform, right? To support that on hp.com, you can see an entire section or entire page dedicated to HP Sustainability Insight Center. So every resource that we use, every chalk talk, every YouTube video, every channel out there, it's very well illustrated there. So if you just type Sustainability Insight Center, it will take you to hp.com most likely. And in that sense, that page will be updated by us as in when we launch new collateral. So Serena here, our product marketing manager, she did a great job in pulling that off. It has a lot of resources for public consumption. So I think do check it out. That will be really grateful to help you understand the product from the makers directly. So I think that'll be a great start.
okay. No, I think we're reaching the top of the hour. I need to provide you with a few more information before we leave on the developer community. So as you know, these are the links where you can actually connect to us, either through Slack, through newsletter or mail or Twitter and workshops on demand. We have your QR code that you can actually scan, and it will provide you with all the links that you need. And while doing this, I'll be thanking our hosts today, Kevin, Annette, and Kashish, for this great session. I mean, quite interactive. There were many questions, and I think you'll have some more people coming back to you after, probably. One last word as well. We have a workshop on demand that is actually showing what Kevin was demonstrating in his Kotlin version of the API demo. So we have a Jupyter notebook and a workshop based on this work that is actually available for you. So if you want to have a real quick go on this, I think there is we have a curl in Python. We had some issue with the Kotlin kernel, I must admit, Kevin, so that may be the reason why we didn't keep it in the end. But I think there's Python and probably Perl that allows you to play around with the Sustainability Insight Center API as well. So it's available.
Yeah, a notebook's a notebook. We don't care about the language.
Exactly, yeah, that's the point. And again, as well, you said on the developer, if you go on GreenLake developer page, you will see all the documentation around the Sustainability Insight Center API, along with multiple examples of languages that are being supported to adapt, I would say, the code to your own programming language. So there are plenty of good things that are available to you for this. Okay, I think that with that being said, we've covered everything. So I will thank you very, very warmly for attending this session, and I will be inviting you to join us in our next call that will take place in June. And as I said, we'll be around, it's a meetup around CRUM APIs again, and Didier should be back by then. So I will wish you a very good end of your day, and thank you for your participation. Bye-bye.